Hope you're enjoying the party as much as we are.
Thanks.
There's more coming. Part 2 of tonight's primetime premiere.
And then make it a weekly thing, because we're going to be here partying every Tuesday from now on.
Every Tuesday? Boy, I gotta get some party hats.
Screech, please.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite television series from yesteryear and then discuss them over a glass of wine. I'm Patrick M. Dunn, and you probably remember me from the previous 60-something episodes. And I'm joined here, as always, by Kat Halstead, the author.
You said it correctly! I think I'm like 99% sure you said it correctly. I'm like, whoa!
I have been practicing, and I get really nervous now, only because 2 or 3 episodes ago you called me out.
I did call you out. I called you out real good.
I was going to cut that part out, but I left it in just because I wanted the world to hear how vengeful you are.
You keep leaving in all the stuff that makes me seem like a total monster.
A lunatic, like Kat freaking out in the last episode because she does not like the movie Free Willy.
That stupid whale should just die. Just die, whale, die.
Little do you know that there are 2 other Free Willy movies that we will be doing in the podcast next year. We don't have time for it now.
No, you can do them with Steven.
I will catch you off guard. You don't worry.
I'm like, what are you gonna do now?
No, we'll do like a sneaky episode. I'll slip. You won't know it's going to be Free Willy, but it'll end up being Free Willy.
You ass.
But we are in a new month again. I said that last time, but we have a new president now.
We do.
We are now in the Trump regime. Our boy Scotty Baio's man, right?
Yeah, Scott. Who knew the power of Scott Baio?
So, do you think if Trump ever goes on vacation with some younger 21-year-old in the Caribbean that he will leave the house, the White House, in charge to Charles?
I can see it now. A very special Charles in charge of the White House.
The Brady Bunch have taken over the White House, so why can't the Powells? Was that the family from Charles in Charge?
Yeah, not the Pembrokes.
All right, so shall we get into tonight's episode?
Yes, what fabulous, wonderful, awesome, amazing, totally tubular, insane 1993 TV show are we doing?
That was a lot of adjectives.
I couldn't stop myself.
We decided to do the sequel series to Saved by the Bell. Obviously, Saved by the Bell, the college years.
What?
Or, as I like to call it, Saved by the Bell After Dark.
After Dark. Wasn't that the name of the club on Beverly Hills 90210 that Tiffany Amber Thiesen's character opened?
Yes, it was the Peach Pit After Dark.
I don't remember.
Well, Saved by the Bell was always a daytime show. It was on at like 11 in the morning on Saturdays and in afternoon in syndication, but they got the bright idea to try to bring this over to primetime.
You know, it kind of makes sense, though, to give it that primetime attempt, considering how insanely popular it was.
Yes, but I felt like they failed because it's nighttime now, and they must have used the same writing staff, which just obviously they don't know how to translate the series to nighttime because you still have the same corny afternoon jokes. Like, you might laugh at this in the afternoon, but at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night, you are not going to laugh at these jokes.
Yeah, it also, I think it had tough competition.
Oh, it was up against Full House.
And Rescue 911.
And on this particular night of the episode, we are doing Rock on Fox.
Oh my, I remember that show being on. I don't think I ever actually watched it, but it's like one of those shows you always saw the commercials for during like Married with Children.
Yes, it was an okay show. I did watch it a few times. And they used to do their show live, actually. They would do live episodes.
That's what I remember. I remember like commercials for Rock Live or something like that.
But the episode that we are doing tonight is a Thanksgiving episode.
Yes, we are doing a Thanksgiving story.
This was season 1 of their only season, episode 11. And this aired on November 23rd, 1993.
Yes, okay, so 1993, we are in the 6th grade.
Yes, I specifically remember being in the 6th grade when this was on. It was the 30th anniversary of JFK's assassination, and I remember just there being a lot of specials on that year. So actually on this night, there was on ABC a TV movie called JFK, A Reckless Youth. And Guess who played a young JFK?
Oh God, I don't know. Who? Tell me.
Patrick Dempsey.
Ooh, we gotta track this one down.
We have to track it down. It's a two-parter.
Because one, we both kind of love to delve into the JFK thing.
We love a good JFK conspiracy theory.
And we love TV movies.
Yes. Also on this night on ABC, that was another great movie. Actually, I don't even know anything about it, but I just like the title. So it's a TV movie. It was on ABC. It was called Nurses on the Line, The Crash of Flight 7.
What?
And it starred Lindsay Wagner.
Oh my, we've got to start tracking these things down.
Yes, so I'm going to read you the description. So, when one of the 3 light planes carrying doctors and medical supplies crashes in a remote Mexican jungle, student nurses traveling on the other planes fight to rescue the severely injured survivors and get them to a big city hospital.
Oh my God.
I can already see the sets in my mind.
Yeah, I can see it.
They probably used the same plane set for all 3 planes.
Yes, of course.
And they probably had, you know how sometimes on soap operas like Days of Our Lives are in the jungle and they have like that jungle set?
Yes, that's totally what I'm seeing. That's exactly, I was thinking Days of Our Lives jungle set. This is what I'm seeing.
It's just a small room, but they just fill it with fake plastic trees. Shout out to Radiohead. And they just move the trees strategically from scene to scene just so it looks like they're in a different part of the jungle.
Yes.
And you might hear the sound of a flowing river in the background.
A bird or something every so often. Like a toucan.
And you gotta have a scene where you come across a deadly poisonous snake.
Oh, I'm sure that happens at least twice.
There's a snake dangling from a tree and it bites one of the nurses. Shout out to nurses.
Nurses!
Alright, so I feel like we should give a warning on tonight's episode of Saved by the Bell because we are making a bold stance.
Can you explain what this stance is?
I'm sure everyone is familiar with the Dustin Diamond scandal from a few years back.
Yes.
Not only did he throw every member of the show under the bus in his tell-all autobiography.
Total bullshit.
But he also stabbed another person at a bar?
Yeah, in Wisconsin of all places. Sorry, Wisconsin. I like you. I've been there many times.
When we watch episodes of Saved by the Bell now, we have sour grapes.
We're just over him, especially, once we watched that Lifetime movie that tried to make it sound like everybody crapped on him. No, thank you.
Yeah, which I think is a lie, because at the end of this episode of Saved by the Bell, when they do the credits, they show bloopers, and Dustin Diamond is having like a grand old time with Tiffany Amber Thiessen, like in the bloopers.
He's just a bitter little bitch. And he's upset because he's not the one starring on Pitch.
Saved by the Bell, the new class after this series ended, which he was on for like another 20 years, playing the same character.
Which, I'm sorry, if you were really over the character, I'm not even going to say the character's name, then why the hell were you that desperate that you went and did new class?
And when that failed, you then went on to porn?
Yeah.
So, Dustin Diamond, aka Screech, we have decided to recast your role, you and your freakishly large penis,
yes,
as a beach ball, an animated beach ball.
Yes, Wilson the Beachball.
Yeah, so whenever you hear us talk about a beach ball or Wilson, just realize that we are talking about Screech.
So, yeah.
So that is our warning for the episode.
I think we should just dive into this and just let it do what it does. Because it's so crazy. It's like such a weird episode.
This episode it's the tropiest tropes because you get a bunch of things happening. So you get the trope where you get the person who has to stay behind for a holiday. You get the person who gets injured. You get like a car breaks down. You get everyone gets together when they're supposed to be somewhere else and learns that they're all family.
But that's the beauty of Saved by the Bell. They kind of have to like throw you everything.
And I feel like the show wasn't doing too well, and this was November, so they just pulled out all the guns in this episode.
I feel like this was probably like that last ditch effort. They're like, if we can't do it with the Thanksgiving episode, then we're just over.
Yeah, because there's only like 6 more episodes after this one.
Exactly.
So we get celebrity cameos galore. which we will get into in a moment. So...
Okay, can we just, like, set up the actual, like, premise a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, so it takes place at Cal U, which I believe is actually the same name of the college that they go to on Beverly Hills 90210.
I think so. My memory is kind of fading on me right now.
I feel like they both used the same name, and it was just hilarious because they both graduated high school the same year. They both, like, started college the same year, and then they had the same college name for their fictional little colleges.
The 90210 crew went to school in Los Angeles area, and these guys are in San Francisco region?
Yeah, they're in the San Francisco, Oakland area, I believe.
Yes, because they reference the drive.
So, somehow, Zack, Slater, and Wilson all decided to go to Cal U together. And they end up roommates. And the way their dorm is set up, they're co-ed suites. So you have the one room for the boys, the one room for the girls, and then they share like a kitchen.
Like a kitchenette?
Well, actually, it's a pretty full-size kitchen for 6 people. It's supposed to be for 6 people.
Yeah, this is fucked up because they're freshmen in college. And they have a swanky 2-bedroom dorm with enough room for a fucking weight bench.
And, like, the guy's room is, like, twice the size as the girl's room.
Their room is just littered with swag. It looks like a TGI Fridays.
There's so much stuff in these dorm rooms that would not be allowed in a dorm room.
You get a great slice of 1993 Americana pie in this because there's Pearl Jam posters, there's, like, a Nerf basketball hoop hanging above the door. There's a dartboard right underneath it. You got the weight bench. There's just things all over the place. I think there's like maybe a Kathy Ireland poster in the corner somewhere.
Probably.
There's definitely some kind of like foxy poster of like a supermodel at that time, but I couldn't make out who it was.
Well, we know who it wasn't. It wasn't Elizabeth Berkley.
No, well...
Was Showgirls out by then?
No, I think Showgirls was like 95, like early 95, 94-ish. I was definitely in 8th grade when Showgirls came out, because I remember I had a really bad bout with the flu in 8th grade, and I rented Showgirls on pay-per-view.
Oh my god, tell me you got in trouble.
No, my mom was like, said it was okay. I thought it was going to be like a porno, but it's just a movie that just happens to show boobs.
Oh.
Kyle MacLachlan is in it, I believe, right?
Showgirls was released September 22nd, 1995.
So I probably saw it in like 96, like after its short fall run at the cinema. It probably hit VHS in January-ish, which lines up with flu season.
It lines up with right before we met.
Yeah, well, I believe it was like a whole year.
I'm bad at math. Come on now.
All right, so that's the Cal U dorm.
So then they have like the 3 girls who they share the suite with. And there's Leslie, who's like this rich, blonde, snobby girl who's trying to be down to earth.
Yeah, does Leslie seem so much older than everybody else?
Yeah, she does.
I have not seen this show since this originally aired, so this is the first time I watched it. I remembered Alex, but I forgot about Leslie. So I thought that maybe Leslie and Mike were a couple, just because they looked like they might have been the same age, and they were kind of like flirty with each other. Then I realized, I was like, wait, no, Leslie is a student.
Yeah, Leslie is a student, and then there's Alex who ends up... Well, originally, Zack and Leslie were supposed to be a thing. They switched to... They brought in Kelly instead of they had for the first episode, for the pilot.
Yes, Danielle, I believe, was her name. She was in the first episode. She was played
by Essence Atkins.
She was the 3rd girl. I guess she didn't work out, and they
wanted to bring in one of the girls, and it made the most sense to bring in Kelly.
Yes, which was a surprising move, because Tiffany Amber Thiessen bailed on Saved by the Bell the previous year. Like, she was not really in the final season that much, because they did that whole...
Well, they added the episodes because they added the 10 with Tori.
Yeah, well...
And Tiffany was off filming Son-in-Law.
Yeah, it's like Tiffany Amber Thiessen wanted to have a wild new career. And she somehow got coaxed back into coming on to Saved by the Bell. And I feel like she seemed like she was really bored with this.
Kelly kind of had a weird storyline, though, too.
In this particular episode?
Like, they started her out with, like, she was, like, upset. She wanted to get back with Zack, but he was with Leslie. And there's, like, the little drama where both girls were like, okay, never mind, Zack. You can't have both of us. And then she started dating the professor.
That's just how she rolls. I'm surprised she didn't go after Mike.
Oh, I don't... think that's really that much of a surprise.
Mike and his moose knuckle.
I mean, Mike versus Professor Lasky? I'd go Professor Lasky.
What was Mike in this? Was he...
Okay, supposedly, they call him the RA, but he seems more like an RD to me.
Well, an RA is usually a student, like an upperclassman.
Yes, Mike is a student.
So he was trying to, like, Cindy Walsh's way back into a college education.
Yeah, basically after, like, a failed football career with the Raiders.
Yeah, he broke his ankle or something. He probably has, like, a screw in his ankle. He came back to... He's like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna, like... I always wanted to be a psychologist or something.
Like, I'm gonna go back to college, and I'm gonna live at the dorms as an RA.
But if you do really good at school and you are older, they'll give you a title. They'll give you, like, a job that you get paid for. So he's the resident advisor /
resident director. Okay, so, like, when I was in college, we had... And our dorms usually had 4 RAs. So, like, one for each, like, hallway. And then an RD who was, like... They weren't in college anymore, but they were, like, still young and hip. They were, like, the adult in charge.
It's probably, you know what, I graduated college, I have a title, and I'm, like, looking for a real job, but the job market's tough right now. I can't get into the sports medicine thing that I thought I was going to get into, so maybe I'll just stick with this RD kind of thing and just see how it works out.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can go live in, like, Southwest Colorado and live for free. I just have to deal with the kids when they get drunk or something. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. And you know what? San Francisco is a really expensive town to live in, so...
Yeah, so...
Do they pay for his room and board?
I think when you're an RA, at least, like, my school, if you were an RA, you had your meal plan and your lodging paid for.
So does the RD live in the building? Like, did Mike live in the same building?
In my college, in the dorms, there were always, like, there was an apartment for the RD. Like, so they had an actual apartment with, like, a stove and oven and a real-size fridge.
So they probably had the kind of room that Zack, Wilson, and Slater had in this show. So that's probably, like, the sex pad that a real RD would have. But for TV purposes, they have to give that room to our main characters. Just because, like, you don't want to have these 6 television characters, like, cramped into a room with 2 beds in it. And a computer, like a computer desk in the corner.
Is there even a computer?
There is. It's an old Macintosh, it looks like.
Yeah, they probably all use it. They all have their little floppy disks with whatever they need to do.
Like, once a month, Zack probably went on there to bang out a paper.
Exactly. You know what? He probably paid Wilson to write his papers.
Yeah, he probably did. And Slater probably went on there to, I don't know, probably use the early version of the internet.
If they even could. Like, did they even have a phone in their rooms?
No, they explicitly use payphones like 3 or 4 times in this episode.
This is before people even had, people had phones in their rooms.
Yeah, because, like, now you would just take your cell phone to school.
Well, like, when I was in college, like, one of the things I remember was, like, it was a big deal that we got cable in the room instead of, like, everybody having to go down to the lounge to watch TV.
In 1993, Zack would have to go down to the Union Hall and use the one payphone that's there that no one ever seems to be using except for him.
Well, I'm sure there's, like, a phone in the hallway.
Yeah, there probably is, but you always see the one in the Union Hall.
Like, could you imagine going to college and you have to share, like, one payphone with, like, a bunch of other people?
No. I had a cell phone.
Oh, okay.
Well, I got my first cell phone on 9/11, like the actual 9/11.
Oh my gosh.
The phone number that I have today, right now, I've had the entire time I've had a cell phone.
Wow, okay, I've had like 1, 2, 3, like 6 different cell phone numbers over the years.
Shout out to Sprint for selling me my first cell phone, and I still have you. Loyal customer. Do you know what really shocked me?
What?
Why did Zack not have his Zack Morris phone with him? Why was he using the payphone?
I don't think he had the phone, like, at all during college years.
No, I was waiting for him to bust that bad boy up.
I wonder if it was, like, one of those things where the service provider wasn't up there.
That, or maybe his parents were just so shocked that he would make these ridiculous phone calls from the Bayside bathroom.
Could you imagine what that bill was like? Back in the early 90s for those ridiculous calls Zack would always make.
That 2-minute phone call to Principal Belding from the bathroom in pretty much every other episode of Saved by the Bell was probably like $100 phone call.
They're like, you're done. We can't afford to send you to college and have have a cell phone.
That's why Zack has to live in a 2-bedroom college dorm instead of like an apartment like he originally probably was supposed to.
Well, he was supposed to go to like Harvard or Yale or something like that.
He was?
Yeah.
Did he bullshit his way there?
No.
I'll have to go back and watch.
No, because he got like a perfect score on the SATs.
Alright, we'll have to go back and watch that episode and talk about it. We'll do it like SAT time, which is what, like April?
I guess.
Alright, so if you are a fan of the podcast, listen to us in April. We will talk about Saved by the Bell once again. Unless the new class happens to show up on Hulu, then we'll definitely do that.
I mean, it depends on which version of the new class shows up.
The pre-Screech ones?
Yeah, I'm so down for pre-Screech. Pre-Wilson.
Sorry. I already forgot.
His name is Wilson.
Alright, so where are we in the actual episode?
We haven't even started the actual episode.
We were just like talking about the dorm itself.
We were setting it up.
Alright, so shall we talk about the cold opening?
Okay, let's talk about this opening.
Alright, so the boys, they're packing up to go back to LA for the Thanksgiving weekend, I guess is what we call it.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's a Wednesday afternoon. So they don't have like the whole week off.
They probably have to go to class on Monday and Tuesday, and probably just early classes on Wednesday, maybe?
Yeah, probably. Or like maybe they have to go to class all day Wednesday, but they're lucky and they don't have afternoon classes on Wednesdays.
Yeah, but if you have an afternoon class, I can see it being canceled. You know, sometimes there's like a 4 p.m. class.
And the teachers are just like, screw it. Like 3 people are going to show up. Okay, so the boys are packing. And Mike comes in, and he's got 4 tickets to the Raiders. Okay, first of all, the Raiders suck.
What team did Mike play for? Was he a 49ers?
No, he was a Raider.
In real life, Bob Golick, he played for the New England Patriots, right?
Yeah, he played for like 3 different teams. I think they were listed on his, they're all listed on his Twitter page. Hold on, give me a sec, I can pull it up.
You said this about his Twitter. You said that he follows all Fox News Channel correspondents?
I looked it up, because I was looking up the other cast members that aren't like original Saved by the Bellers on Twitter, and like 98% of the people he follows are Fox News reporters and correspondents. Like, they're all... Okay, he played for New England, Cleveland, and the Raiders.
When this episode was on, well, when the series was on, he was already done with football, though, right?
Yeah, he was done with football. He had gone into acting.
And what does he do now? What is this guy up to today?
He does radio.
Do you think we can get him on the podcast and he can divulge in some Saved by the Bell secrets?
We probably could. I don't know, maybe not since I insulted the Raiders. And then I, like, joked about who he follows.
He doesn't give a fuck.
I was, like, looking through. I was like, oh, maybe he follows, like, some other cast members. And it's, like, Neil Cavuto, Rush Limbaugh.
This is probably a pimple on his resume, like this series.
Dinesh D'Souza, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Ben Carson, David A. Clark, James Rosen. James Rosen's cool. James Rosen follows me, so. If
a celebrity you hate all of a sudden just started following me on Twitter, I would totally be for them.
Yeah.
Bob Golick, he probably has completely forgotten about his time on this show. He never thinks of it. It's just a pimple on his resume.
Like, I think it was, like, the steadiest acting job he had from his IMDb. Because, like, he did a few movies. He was one of those actors, though, that went and thought, oh, I can go and be in a sitcom. Because he had, like, Dick Butkus, blah, 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 blah. You know who I'm saying.
Yes, Dick Butkus.
And, like, the dad from, Webster. So, like, there was, like, that, like, phase where it was like, oh, you were a football player, and America kind of likes you, let's put you on a sitcom. Like
Brian Bosworth.
Yeah, like, random.
But, you know, he landed himself a gig on Saved by the Bell the fucking college years, and it did not pan out.
No, it didn't.
I didn't hate his character, but there's just so many distracting elements to him. Like, his mullet is really distracting.
Which I think he still has, according to his Twitter profile picture.
Oh, I'm sure he does. He hasn't got rid of that. And he wears really tight jeans.
He does. I think, though, that was, like, 1993.
He's not a small man.
He's not.
When Bob Golick wears tight jeans, you're gonna see all of his features, including, like, his penis outline.
Oh, God, I didn't need to.
Just watch the episode. When he sits down, when he moves, and the way his jeans move, you just see, like, penis outline. So it's just really distracting, this character.
Yeah.
Too much. Too much for Saved by the Bell After Dark.
Poor realsies.
We might just replace him with another clip art.
Okay, what's his clip art?
Oh, he should be the Microsoft Paperclip.
Yes.
Is his name Clippy?
I think it is Clippy. Because when Tumblr did their April Fool's Day thing, they had the copier, and his name was Copy.
The role of Mike, the RD, has been replaced by Clippy, the Microsoft Office assistant.
Yes.
All right, so Clippy comes into the dorm. He has 4 tickets to the Raiders game.
And he offers them to these kids. Like, hello, of course Zach's gonna want them to try and sell them. But Zack gives him, like, some sob story about his brother Teddy returning from the Peace Corps in Guatemala. And somehow Slater and Wilson don't, like, speak up loud enough to be like, dude, you don't have a brother named Teddy. You're an only child.
Yeah, you just see Slater and Wilson's faces. They're just looking at each other like, what the fuck? Like, Zack, you don't need to do this. He would just give you the tickets. There's 4 of them. There's 3 of us. Plus we get an extra that we can sell.
And then he's probably thinking Alex or Kelly will go, or one of your dads. Like, he would totally, like, he's in there to give you guys the ticket.
Yeah, I think Zack is always in a scheming mindset, though.
Do you think Zach Morris got busted for a Ponzi scheme?
Not yet, but I give him, in, let's say Zack Morris is a real character, I give him to 2020.
2020?
Yeah, like he's 4 years away from being caught. Because he's probably he's really elusive.
And you know, he's a fast talker.
Yeah, and when he gets caught, he can talk his way out of it.
Exactly.
Like, he conned himself into a friendship with Principal Belding.
Yeah, how the heck? What is this mess? What is this mess we have invested so much of our lives into?
When Mr. Belding is not in his office, Zack is in there. Like, he's just chilling, and, like, Mr. Belding will come in and be like, oh, hey, Zack, and Zack's like, hey, Mr. Belding. He doesn't realize, it's like, why are you in my office when I'm not here?
Yeah, it's never, Zack, what are you doing here? It's like, hey, what up? It's never, what scheme are you plotting? Like, I will say for Clippy, he's a little more aware that Zack is scheming most of the time.
Was Clippy supposed to be the Mr. Belding type character?
He was, but then they decided to make him a little more part of the gang, and that's why in like the next episode, or the episode after the next one, is Holland Taylor comes in, who played the boss on Bosom Buddies.
Shout out to Holland Taylor. She dates Sarah Paulson in real life.
Yes, which somehow we did not mention on Bosom Buddies, and I was like, how the hell did we not mention this?
So Clippy is just kind of like one of the gang.
He's like the older member of the gang who you're kind of like, why are they here? They don't buy us beer.
Is he like the Max from The Max?
Yes, he's probably more like Max.
He's an adult, but he's not really that much of an adult. He's just kind of like a plaything.
Yeah, exactly. Alex has packed like every bag she owns. She's packed up with clothes because she wants to make a good impression on Slater's family.
Can we talk about Alex for a bit?
Yeah, let's talk about Alex.
So Alex is now Slater's girlfriend. He must have broken up with Jesse in between high school and college.
Well, I don't think they were actually together at the end of high school.
Well, he obviously has forgotten about her, and he's moved on to Alex. I was never a big Jessie Spano fan, but Alex is definitely a downgrade.
She is. She's that girl who is a theater major who thinks she is the most amazing talent in the world, and she's just kind of okay.
She wears, like, a Jerry Seinfeld puffy shirt in this episode.
She does! She really does.
And Tina Fey mom jeans.
But to be fair, it was 1993, and that's how jeans were worn.
But watching this with 2016 eyes...
Yes, oh my god, the clothes are so bad.
Like, why is she not wearing flannel?
The only person I think wearing flannel is Zack. Maybe Kelly.
No, Kelly was wearing kind of like a modest sweater in this episode.
True, I was just thinking, if anybody, those are the two, I think.
Well, sometimes I think Kelly wore flannel, like, here and there.
This is when, like, the flannel with the hood on the back was, like, a thing. I think Zack is the only one.
In this episode, Zack was definitely wearing, like, a peak polo with a denim jacket. So maybe the grunge scene didn't quite make its way to San Francisco?
Maybe. I mean, they're LA kids, so they probably haven't done the grunge thing yet, really. They were in neons and preppy clothing. Especially Zack. Alex is going to meet Slater's family, and he, like, keeps dropping these weird little tidbits about his family that we have never heard before.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Slater's family, they've never been mentioned before.
Except for his sister, who, like, dated Zack.
Slater is like a military, like the son of a military guy. Like, they were always moving around. So is now they all of a sudden all in Los Angeles?
Well, I'm kind of wondering if maybe Los Angeles is where his extended family is from.
His home base.
His parents had moved around all over the place, but they always came back to LA.
All of a sudden, like, everyone has family values in this episode. Like, Kelly was like, I'm always with my family on Thanksgiving.
Okay, for Kelly, I believe that, though. Kelly, I buy it. Because Kelly has that big family with, like, all the siblings.
Yeah, you might be right.
So, she's also the one who, like, wouldn't go to prom because her dad lost the job and they couldn't afford a prom dress, so... Like, I can see it, though. Zack is, like, kind of a mama's boy. And they haven't seen their parents for a while. None of them have seen their parents since, like, they left for college.
It's been 2 months.
It's been 2 months. Like, it's that point where, like, the homesickness is, like, it's there. You have to go home. No matter how you feel about your family, you're, like, desperate to go home.
Kelly just wants to go home, just be with her family. And she is somewhat kind of, like, appalled because Leslie, the other girl in the college, like, she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna, like, hang out at the dorm. She's like, my family, like, we're rich. Like, we don't really, like, do much around the holidays. We just kind of, like, hang out in hotels. They don't know how to cook.
Oh, God, Leslie's the worst.
Let's recast Leslie.
Okay, let's talk about Leslie.
Let's just recast her right now.
Okay.
Mike is Clippy. Screech is an animated GIF of a beach ball. Leslie is going to be, like, what's the wind emoji?
I don't know. How about we just replace her with a piece of white bread?
You know what, though? I like bread. I like bread, so I don't want to disrespect bread like that.
A pilgrim hat. Because she says her ancestors came over on the Mayflower.
Which I think is a lie.
Oh, yeah, it's totally.
Leslie does not know anything about her family tree.
Probably not.
She doesn't even know what a teaspoon is.
Oh my god. Yes, the whole, like, I don't know how to cook. I hate that. I hate that trope. It's like, come on, you're telling me nobody taught anybody ever how to cook.
There's a dumb joke where she says, like, I have a 3.8 GPA, and then Clippy is like, you don't know what a teaspoon is? And she's like, I never said I had a 4.0 GPA.
These are basic things you should know.
Yeah, like, I know you probably had help growing up, but you probably picked up a Betty Crocker box of, like, brownie mix one day. Like, maybe you and your girlfriends just wanted to, like, rock out to Belle Biv DeVoe, like, a year or two prior, and you just wanted to make up a dance in the basement and pig on some brownies.
Or you tried to, like, impress some boy and make, like, cookies or something. Come on.
Some fucking Pillsbury or something.
And this is before, like, the store-bought dough was really popular.
Unless she lived in a house where she had, like, her own personal servant.
Oh, God, she probably did.
You know what? She probably lived in the same kind of house with Scott Baio of Charles in Charge.
So she never really actually had to do anything. She's gonna stick around and help Clippy with the dinner for the underprivileged kids. And the NBC Sports is gonna show up to do a story about the program he does every year.
Marv Albert, you mean?
Yeah, Marv Albert.
Which is hilarious. That we'll get to it eventually.
Okay, we'll get to it when we get to that part. You're jumping around. I'm trying to get us caught up with your insanity.
Sorry.
Okay, so the kids, they go to the union to get the keys to Mike's car, because they're borrowing his car to drive to LA. So it's Zack, Slater, Alex, Kelly, and Wilson are all supposed to drive to LA. And none of them have a car. Which I guess, I know there are some colleges where, like, freshmen are not allowed to have cars.
Did they ever have cars in regular Saved by the Bell, though? Saved by the Bell proper?
They did, because, like, Slater got a car, or maybe they at least had driving privileges. And there's the drunk driving episode with Tori.
Yeah, but Tori doesn't count.
She doesn't. Every Saved by the Bell podcast I listen to, it's like, Tori doesn't count. Sorry, Tori.
Sorry, Tori, if you are listening to this.
Leanna, whatever your name is. You rocked in the Parent Trap movies.
You're probably cool in real life. You know, you rock a leather jacket really cool, but in the grand scheme of Saved by the Bell, you do not matter.
Sorry.
When Jimmy Fallon has the whole gang come back, they would probably ask the Beachball before you.
Actually, Jimmy probably would ask her.
Oh, did you see? Literally, like, 2 days ago, Dustin Diamond was on Dr. Oz apologizing to the Saved by the Bell cast members. Did you see that?
What? I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to go look that crap up.
This literally just happened, like, 2 days ago. So Dustin Diamond was on Dr. Oz, and they were talking about his wretched past, and he pretty much just apologized to the cast.
For being, like, such a dick and writing that book and making up all those lies.
For being a bigger dick than the one that's in his pants.
Oh my god, why do you keep bringing that up?
I don't know, because he has a freakishly large penis, according to porn.
Okay, I don't want to know that. There are things I don't need to know, and that is one of them.
Has Kat never seen the Dustin Diamond porn?
I am very happy to say I have never seen that.
We're going to do a mini-sode in which Kat watches the Dustin Diamond porn.
No.
But there's a rumor that it might not even be his actual penis. Like, it could have been like a stunt double.
How lame. Okay. So they go to the union to borrow the car, and for some reason, Clippy asks Wilson, not Slater, not Zack, not any of the other men in the student union. He asks Wilson, or any of the girls, he asks Wilson to help him move a pool table.
And when they move the pool table, they both go to the same side.
Yeah, like, what the...
And Clippy pulls his back muscle out.
Yeah, he slips a disc.
Is that what it happens? Is that what he says?
Wilson doesn't even, do anything.
No, he...
Okay, I actually worked for my college union, and I would do, like, the setup for special events. So, okay, Mike is having, like, a special event, right? You would think they would have had somebody, like, in the building who worked for the college union building move the furniture out of the way to help set up for this event.
Yeah, like a volunteer or something at least. Someone looking for, like, extra credit.
There would be nights where I would set up, like, whole rooms, like, huge ballrooms for events.
Beach ball. Since you're here, I could have grabbed that huge, like, stud muffin that just walked out of the union hall, but no, I'm gonna grab a beach ball instead.
I'm gonna grab beach ball instead of, like, thick Zack or wrestling star Slater.
Yeah, can we talk about Puffy Zack? We haven't even brought up Puffy Zack yet.
We haven't. Well, doesn't Steven keep calling him thick Zack?
I like Puffy Zack, though. In between Saved by the Bell proper and Saved by the Bell the college years, Mark Paul Gosselaar got a little puffy.
He bulked up.
Was it steroids, do you think?
I think so. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything definite.
He was building up to his regime on NYPD Blue, where you would get to see his ass.
Well, no. This is long before. This is like when he did those CW shows, like, oh god, I think one was called Hyperion Bay.
Was Carmen Electra on Hyperion Bay?
I think she was.
The show was not doing well. She was the Heather Locklear. She was supposed to come in and save the show.
Yeah, I think that's what I stopped watching.
So then Mark Paul Gosselaar shed off some of that puffy weight and bared his buns on NYPD Blue.
Yeah.
If you're the leading actor on NYPD Blue, you have to show your ass. It's like a rule.
Okay, and now he's, like, on a TV show on Fox.
Shout out to Pitch on Fox on Thursday nights.
Yes, I gotta get caught up.
Alright, watch it before it gets canceled. So where are we in the podcast? Moving...
Wilson has just injured Clippy because they're both idiots and tried to move the pool table together.
Fucking idiots.
Wilson decides he's gonna stay and help Clippy out, even though Clippy doesn't want him anywhere near him. So Clippy has the help of Wilson and the pilgrim hat. So he's got the pilgrim hat and Wilson. So Clippy, pilgrim hat, and Wilson are all, like, planning to spend Thanksgiving together, and it's, like, the one guy who could probably, like, do most of this on his own, but he's injured, and he's got these two idiots who don't know how to do anything. Clippy is in for one hell of a Thanksgiving. And of course, it's the year that Marv Albert's going to come and interview him.
So this is pre-scandal Marv Albert. He is a viable interest to NBC.
Because this is what happens when these kids enter your life. You're just screwed.
You're a fallen athlete. You are a psychology major at a fake college. And you decide you want to do the right thing and make a Thanksgiving dinner for underprivileged kids. And everyone that is helping you is basically fucking it up for you.
Yeah, they're just a bunch of idiots. Like, the people who you probably could use help from are the ones you just gave Raiders tickets to, and they're going back to LA.
Yeah, you gave them your truck, and they pretty much destroyed your truck.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like, something like the oil pump or something went out.
Yeah, so we get that trope where people are trying to get back to their homeland on time for an important event. And the driver, who is Zack in this instance, decides, like, oh, I'm going to take a shortcut that I know. Which, Is there a shortcut between San Francisco and Los Angeles? Because I feel like it's just like one highway.
I mean, I've never actually been to California, but I feel like it's not like you're going to drive through like a few small towns and skip the highway.
So they end up in the woods. The car breaks down. It needs a new oil pump. And they're referencing like fake Twilight Zone episodes.
Alex is all like, I saw this in a Twilight Zone. The goat people were in the woods. Don't go out there to pee, Kelly.
So these people, they listen to this girl. This girl, Alex, is just a moron.
Oh God, Alex is so stupid. She's just an idiot.
Yeah, there's no room for her in the Saved by the Bell universe. Like, I put up for Jesse for how many seasons, and they repay us with Alex?
Yeah, we get Alex and Leslie instead of Jesse and Lisa.
No wonder why the show got canceled.
So, my favorite part about them, like, right before they get the car trouble is they've got the radio on, and they're trying to sing along to La Bamba, and they don't know the words at all.
But you know what? I'm with them, because the only part of La Bamba I know is just La 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 Bamba. La La Bamba. Alright, so...
Okay, so we get... Clippy tells Pilgrim Hat she's gonna have to cook. This is where she's like, I don't know what TSP means. She's like, what's TISP? And he's like, teaspoon. And she's like, I have a 3.8. I didn't say I have a 4.0. And then there's this really awkward turkey thermometer joke between Wilson and Clippy.
Yeah, so they were suggesting that Wilson was going to stick a turkey thermometer up Clippy's asshole?
Yeah, like what?
At like 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night.
8 p.m. Tuesday night, 1993.
Relax.
Do you think that's the moment where he was like, this show, you know what, is fun being in prime time, but I think I'm out. I'm just gonna like ride out this season? Okay, also, here's another question I have. What dorm lets you stay over for Thanksgiving? We always got kicked out. We always had to leave.
But what if you had no family? Or, like, you lived really far away and you couldn't get, like, a plane ticket?
You gotta, like, hope you have a friend who lives in town you can crash at.
I guess if you're Leslie and your family pretty much owns the place?
Yeah. She just doesn't want to go hang out in a hotel with them.
Are they like Hiltons? Are they like fake Hiltons?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be like Hilton.
Yeah, Leslie is no Paris Hilton, by the way. Let's just throw that out there.
Okay, yeah, so we get the weird teaspoon and the turkey thermometer. And then we're back in the woods, and Slater's trying to work on the car. And Kelly and Zack are sitting in the car, and they're talking about this time they went on a drive up Mulholland, and they ran out of gas. And Zack is all like, do you remember how cold it was? And Kelly's like, I remember how warm it got. Kelly
totally gave Zack a hand job that night.
Zack is all like, yeah, I can't believe you fell for that ran out of gas line. And she's like, Zack, I was the one driving. And then, like, this car pulls up that's totally going to help them. At the very least, give them a ride to the next gas station to call a tow truck or something. And Alex pulls something out of her pocket that could look like a gun and scares them away because Alex is the worst.
Slater just likes to date nutbags, right? Is that his motive?
I think he likes the batshit crazy girls.
Because I feel like this would have been a deal breaker.
Okay, I don't see how you, like, make it to after Thanksgiving. After, like, she scares away your possible only chance for survival.
So, how did they get back to Caillou? That's my question.
They eventually, like, I think, because they all, like, snapped at Alex after that. I think they eventually did get a ride.
I guarantee you, like, out of the four of them, one of them has had to have AAA.
Probably Zack.
Kelly's parents seemed kind of responsible, and it's like, you know what, if we're going to let our daughter drive, like, 400 miles back to Los Angeles, like, let's make sure she gets in the car with someone that has AAA. And if they don't have it, we'll just sign them up for it.
Yeah, Zack isn't an idiot. Zack probably has, like, everything. Even if it wasn't, like, his idea, his parents signed him up for everything.
So, the guys, plus Kelly and Alex, they make it back to Caillou. So Clippy is supposed to do this dinner for underprivileged kids, and Screech fucks it up.
So, Clippy orders 4 cooked turkeys from the grocery store, which is totally something you can do. And Wilson gets on the phone. Instead of confirming them, he changes it to frozen turkeys.
Because he wanted to save Clippy $47.
Which will now be used to put out a hit on him.
Now that means they have to cook the turkeys in...
It takes forever to defrost a frozen turkey. I've done it.
Wilson the Beachball is trying to do it.
With a hairdryer and a sauna.
Yeah, and then these, like, asshole preteens show up. They're the dickiest of kids. One of the kids is Yeah from The Sandlot.
Yeah, okay, that's who that was. I forgot to look this up on IMDb.
Yeah, so that's Yeah from The Sandlot for you.
Okay, so Zack and Kelly and Slater and Alex all show up, and so they're gonna try and help. Zack gets sent to find food. Kelly starts taking over the cooking because Leslie can't even follow a recipe. Pilgrim Hat can't follow a recipe. Like, okay, seriously, how difficult is it to follow a recipe?
It's hard. You know what? At times it can be hard, especially if you've never cooked before.
But then, like, there's a point where she's, like, trying to chop the onions and she starts crying. She's like, I don't know why. I'm so emotional. And Kelly's like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
All right, so when they came back with the Saved by the Bell, the college's wrap-up movie, which was Kelly and Zack get married in Las Vegas, Leslie did not come back. I mean, Pilgrim Hat did not come back.
But she seems like she was a bitch. Like, she refused to do it.
And I kind of got hints from this episode because we're 11 episodes into Saved by the Bell, the college years, and it seemed like there definitely was bad blood between Tiffany Amber Thiessen and the actress who played Pilgrim Hat.
And Tremco.
I could sense it. I could sense that Tiffany Amber Thiessen was just not having a good time in this series.
Well, because here's the thing. You get this Anne girl who thinks she's going to be MPG's new, like, OTP.
Love interest?
Yeah. But then what do? They bring back on his actual OTP.
In a normal episode of Saved by the Bell, Kelly Kapowski is, like, cheerful, jovial, she's fun. For some reason, I just could not buy Tiffany Amber Thiessen in this series. Like, she had reservations, it seemed like.
I feel like they didn't exactly know what they were supposed to do with Kelly. They had her fall for the professor. They made her a medical student.
Then they gave her that Monica Lewinsky haircut.
Yeah.
And it was not a good look on her. Like, this is definitely not hot TAT.
She'll get, like, super hot, like, when she does 90210 and a few.
She chops off that Monica Lewinsky do.
I feel like the Saved by the Bell college year looks for all of them, for Tiffany, for Mark Paul, for Mario, were not their best looks.
That's probably why Saved by the Bell, the college years didn't work, because our normal 10s were, like, now, like, 7s.
I mean, Mario Lopez in Saved by the Bell, the college years is more like the Mario Lopez we get now. But it was, like, 15 years too early.
America still wanted Mario Lopez with a mullet.
Yeah, we weren't ready to let go of the mullet, apparently.
You know what? Bob Golek came onto the show with the mullet, and Mario Lopez is like, you know what? I gotta just chop it off. I just realized how stupid this looks.
I cannot be a 40-year-old man and still have this.
Yeah, it's not working. Let's chop this bitch off.
Okay, where are we? Oh, we're at the good news part, where Clippy comes in and asks Kelly and Pilgrim Hat, girls, tell me some good news. And they're like, Wilson left.
He's at the sauna trying to, like, heat up the turkeys.
You gotta run it underwater.
Well, these people didn't have the internet, so they couldn't look up.
Yeah, why is there a sauna on a college campus? I guess it's in the athletics building, maybe.
Yeah. Well, because those athletes, after they're done working out / doing sports, they need to just relax their muscles.
Okay, so this is where Zack comes in from the 7-Eleven.
Alright, so we get racist Zack here right now.
Yeah.
And he's talking about 7-Eleven and Indians negatively. And apparently in 1993, this was a thing that you were allowed to do on TV.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah, not cool watching this at all. I was very uncomfortable seeing this. Isn't there an episode of Saved by the Bell proper where Zack dresses up like an Indian also? I kind of remember that.
Yes, Mark Paul Gosselaar actually just, like, apologized for that episode in, like, Entertainment Weekly or something like that.
Yeah, so we will not give a shout out to Saved by the Bell.
Even though it has a weird special place in our hearts. Okay, so, hey, here's your favorite part. Marv Albert has arrived.
Marv Albert, NBC sports announcer, in 1993 was a viable interest for NBC.
He was like a household name.
Flash forward 3 or 4 years, and he was like biting women, sexually assaulting them.
Creepy predator stuff.
Yeah, so it's strange seeing people get excited about Marv Albert in 1993.
That's one of the things I kind of love about going back and watching these old shows, is seeing, like, the stuff people got excited about.
Such as the guest stars that come in next. So, I guess Marv Albert did this story in between, like, halftime of, like, a big football game that was going on. Probably the Raiders game that was happening.
It's the Detroit-Dallas game.
Okay, so it's the Detroit-Dallas game, it's halftime, and Marv Albert swings over to Cal U to do an interview with...
Former NFL player, Raider, Clippy, yeah.
So he's doing this, like, cool program for the underprivileged kids, and they want to get, like, a good shot of the food. Like, we need to get, like, a good shot of the turkey.
Yeah.
Because Beachball fucked up, there's no turkey. Zack ran to 7-Eleven, he bought, like, turkey jerky... and cranberry juice.
He found what he could. Let's be fair, Zack did like what he could with what he could find.
Yeah, he got some like combos, some turkey jerky.
Some Spam.
They put it in those like fancy platter dishes where you like reveal the top.
Yeah.
I don't know why they even bothered doing that. I would just brought it over like plastic plates.
It's like, here's the jerky.
Yeah, so they do the big reveal. It's on NBC across the whole country.
This is national television.
Apparently there's like a bunch, like a surplus of celebrities that are in San Francisco area watching this.
So they decide to like show up with their food.
Jonathan Brandis of Sequest is on his way to like his relative's house. He has like a fully cooked turkey in his car and he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm not going to bring this to my family's house. I'm going to drop it off to this college for these like 15 kids.
Jonathan Brandis shows up and everybody's like, oh my god, what are you doing above water? And like, can we be fair? Like, back in 1993, Jonathan Brandis was like hot. He was like one of the it guys. It was like Luke Perry, Jason Priestley, Mark Paul Gosselaar, Jonathan Brandis, and Joey Lawrence.
It's even funnier because Jonathan Brandis was on the original Miss Bliss. He was like in an episode.
He was cast as one of the original cast members along with Brian Austin Green, who were both like, this is before Mark Paul and Dustin were cast. This is like the original cast that didn't work out. So it was like Jonathan Brandis, Brian Austin Green, a few of those kids that didn't make it to the actual Saved by the Bell.
And Jonathan Brandis looks completely bitter to be in this.
He's like, are you fucking kidding me, people?
Then the next celebrity guest is Marsha Warfield of Night Court and Empty Nest.
And there was like, I think there was a show she did in between. I could be wrong.
No, because Night Court ended in 92 and she was on Empty Nest in 93.
Yeah, I feel like there was a show she did in the 92-93 season, maybe.
It's possible, but no one remembers it right now.
So, like, she shows up, and that's kind of cool because it's like, that's an NBC star, too.
Yeah, it's an NBC star. It's, like, really cool that they got Marsha Warfield on there, though. But Kelly loses her shit. Like, I really don't think that Kelly really cares about Marsha Warfield.
I feel like maybe Kelly's whole family just sat around and watched Night Court.
Kat and I love Marsha Warfield, but Kelly Kapowski does not like Marsha Warfield.
If it was Marsha Warfield and John Larroquette both, like, walked in, I'd probably lose my shit over John Larroquette. I mean, I'll probably go get the selfie, but then I'd be like, oh my god, John Larroquette.
So I really feel like NBC was just trying to get who they could get.
They're like, okay, whose contract says we can just throw them on anything for a guest appearance?
They probably filmed on the same lot as Empty Nest, so like Marsha Warfield was probably like walking in between sets or something at the time. They're like, hey, Marsha.
They're just like, hey, Marsha, could you come and do like a 5-minute scene for us?
Not even. She's on it for 15 seconds. I don't even think she has a line. She just like comes in and like says, hey, everybody, or something like.
No, she threatens them to like not eat her food. Don't touch her yams or something like that to Jonathan Brandis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Jenna Von Oy shows up and she's got pies.
So she's on her way to her parents' house.
And Kelly is all like, oh my god, it's 6 from Blossom, it's 6 from Blossom. And Wilson's like, no, that's one person from Blossom. And like that point, I just want to be like, anybody just want to like punch him until he's bloody. No, this is the best part. Pilgrim Hat is all like, I hope Tom Cruise is next. Okay. Really? Tom Cruise?
We are at, like, Far and Away era Tom Cruise.
There's posters of him in Bop and Teen Beat and whatever.
Yeah, Interview with the Vampire is just about to come out.
So, Leslie's like, I hope it's Tom Cruise. And then in walks Mr. Belding. And Zack looks terrified.
Why would your principal from high school show up at your college on Thanksgiving Day?
Well, he had family there in the area. And he's like, but I saw my kids were going hungry. Because he has this weird sick obsession with these kids.
You know what I really feel like what's going on here? Mr. Belding does not have family.
He has a wife and child.
He made him up.
The kid was born in the elevator. Zack gave birth to that kid.
He does not care about this child. This child, he does not care about.
Oh my gosh.
In reality, Mr. Belding he wants to be in Zack's life. He has like a single white female thing going on for him. He loses his shit when he sees Jenna Voinelli, though. He is a Blossom fan, so I'll give it up for Mr. Belding. He's not the biggest star that night. Neither is Jonathan Brandis, because we are going off network here.
Yes, this is where things get crazy.
Everyone else who has made an appearance has been an NBC star. They're part of the NBC family, except for our final guest.
The one, the only,
Brian Austin Green. The notorious BAG shows up. Does he even have food with him? I feel like he didn't have food with him.
No, I think he did have food. I forget. I didn't write down what it was.
And I think him and TAT were dating at this point, right?
Yes, they were. They were, which makes it so hilarious because Kelly flips out more than she has flipped out over anybody else. And he kind of looks at her like, honey, it's okay.
Kelly had an orgasm right there. Legitimately.
It was so awkward. Maybe. Okay. So, like, all the celebrities have shown up. Kelly's freaked out. And then Zack's all like, Kelly, I got the standby ticket. Because he, like, called the airline to get on standby. And he gives it to Kelly. And he's like, well, give your mom a hug for me. And then she's like, oh, Zack, my happiness is more important to you than money. And they kiss. And it's a really cute scene.
Yeah, the episode ends, and then, so you get this cute moment between Zack and Kelly, and then in the very next episode, she fucking starts dating the college professor.
She's like making out with Zack in this episode, but then she goes back to being Lasky's little thing on the side.
I could totally see why the show got canceled.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like, when we were 12? I didn't totally understand it, but now I'm like, oh my god, how did this even last that long?
This show works in the daytime on a Saturday morning, but on a Tuesday night?
Yeah, it probably would have worked if it stayed as a Saturday morning kind of thing.
So I think we should end our Saved by the Bell episode. Let's end this bitch. I've had enough.
Yeah, let's end our Saved by the Bell episode.
Maybe we'll revisit Saved by the Bell the college years in a future episode. Hopefully not. Hopefully this is our one visit to Cal U.
Yeah, no, I think if we do another Saved by the Bell, it's gotta be The Wedding.
Yeah, definitely one of the movies or the new class or whatever it lands itself on Hulu.
I'm telling you right now, we are eventually going to do Zack and Kelly's wedding.
We're inching our way towards it. We might have to go back to Saved by the Bell proper.
I am so...
Yes, so what are we doing next?
I don't know. What are we doing next?
Well, it's still going to be Thanksgiving time, so I think we should keep it in the Thanksgiving realm.
Okay.
There's a show that I've wanted to do for a while, and I know you've wanted to do it for a while too. And it stars one of our favorite actresses. She once almost got blown away by a twister. The one, the only Helen Hunt. We are going to do her famous TV series in which she started with Paul Reiser, the comedian.
Yes, this is one of my favorite TV shows.
An episode of Mad About You. So join us next week when we go to New York City to hang out with the...
Buckmans.
I always said Buchanans. To hang out with the Buckmans. So, as always.
Bye!
Until next time.